Welcome, dear listeners, to the WIP show brought to you by Kimaya Creatives, where we dive deep into the world of writing and creativity. I'm your host, Namrata, and the founder of Kimaya Creatives. WIP, you may ask. Well, it stands for Writing in Progress. That's exactly what we are here for. Each week, we bring you inspiring conversations with talented writers, delving into their journeys, their challenges, and the stories behind their stories. From seasoned authors to aspiring wordsmiths, we explore the nooks and crannies of the writing process. Whether it's overcoming writer's block, finding inspiration in the unlikeliest of places, or simply navigating the wild, wonderful world of words, we are here for it all. So grab your favorite writing mugs, settle into your coziest writing nooks, and join us as we celebrate the beauty and chaos of the writing life. Our guest today is Lagnajita Chatterjee. Lagnajita is a postgraduate from the University of Burdwan, West Bengal. She's been in the teaching profession for last 16 years. She believes that a childlike innocence resides in the hearts of all humans. Therefore, her book, Googly, Impu Chimpu, and Other Stories, is dedicated to all who would like to laugh their hearts out. The implication of the name Lagnajita stands for one who has conquered time. Thus, the conqueress of time has decided to reach her goal by conquering the hearts of millions of readers through her stories, which are a blend of the spices of imagination, humor, and an eeriness all around. Welcome, Lagnajita, to this session, and thank you so much for joining us today. The first question that
Thank
we
you a lot.
have for us, the title of your book is quite intriguing. Can you share the story behind the title Googly, Impu, Chimpu, and the Other Stories?
First of all, thanks. Greetings to all. Hello, my viewers. And yes, I'll be beginning with Googly, Impu Chimpu, and Other Stories. Well, before there, of course, before that, there is a story behind Googly, Impu Chimpu, behind the screen. There is a story behind writing the book. And it was, I think, I was telling some bedtime stories to my daughter. So, who was then 3 year old, then 4 years, as we went on talking about it. And long, long before that, if I read the fairy tales, once upon a time, I will tell that, apply that to myself. So once upon a time, my mother always used to tell me bedtime stories. I never allowed her any peace until she said me those bedtime stories, and only then we went to sleep. So it was a routine for us. And not only books, not only Enid Blyton, Ruskin Bond, not only they, but also my mother was a great storyteller for me. So, and her, of course, her words, her stories were her totally her imagination. And therein, this somehow got me the book Googly Impu Chimpu, because there are 4 to 5 stories. And one is Udara Mudara Tara, one is Googly, another second is Impu Chimpu. So if I start with Googly, I was in a thoughtless mind, meditating. Of course, I'm very talkative, so I need to keep my mind calm. Sometimes I need to do that. So that is one good way, 10 minutes of calmness, listening to music. And while meditating, that story came to me, a girl running and a crocodile. I could only see a green, scaly, skinny creature and, ugly looking animal and a girl running in front. The crocodile, I chasing, looking, nothing was clear, but the girl was running and the crocodile behind. And that put me into the idea. I, as if left all other work, I only went on thinking, why did I see that? God, give me the story. Oh God, how would I put that story? So just as a director, makes the roles, the writer, script writing, they think of the roles, what dialogues, they keep changing, the choreographers, the music composers. So it was all me. It was all me who was doing all a set for myself, for my Googly. And the name did not, of course, initially come as Googly. But when I found out the story is leading me somewhere to a, great a fantasy which also has a message equally well for people. And I carved the story Googly because I am from West Bengal and we have a shell-like thing that we eat is called Googly. We have a shell that is available in the sea, is called Googly. And generally it's said it's good for the eyes. So I placed Googly and related to eyes. And thus Googly is the name of the first story, wherein the crocodile is chasing Googly and Googly says, stop, because she doesn't know who is chasing. She's just running, thinking an insurgent is there behind, and she says, "Stop, dare you chase me?" And then the crocodile talks, "Will you be my friend?" And therein Googly stops to turn and see, my God, what is this? A crocodile. And Baba always said about crocodile in the zoo. How could I be standing in front of a crocodile? And then how the story moves forward, that if my readers read it, they will surely come to know. And then next comes Impu Chimpu, is totally a story which I was telling my daughter. Impu is a rat and Chimpu is a lion. So he's a champion of the jungle, and thus his pet name is Chimpu. He has a very deary lioness wife. Wife calls him Chimpu. She bakes tandoors for the husband. She makes different kinds of food, but the husband is very greedy. So after a certain lunch of good tandoor and baked food, he still went and was resting under a tree wherein a mouse was continuously disturbing. And seeing it, he felt quite greedy and he gulped it in at one go. And then the story, the mouse inside Chimpu's stomach, is a very common story. A lion eating a mouse is very common. But what happens after that is the mouse isn't digested. The mouse is alive in the stomach. And the mouse moves from right to left, from east to west, north to south, is disturbing Chimpu like anything. And Chimpu lies almost, a body without any action. It lies almost unconscious, and the wife is Bindia. Bindia is very worried for her husband. So she asks for help. She asks the fox. And the fox here is Fantus. Fantus, the fox, comes to help Bindia, and then the story progresses. All are animals here involved in the jungle. Only one human named Lala. So Lala is a very queer character. Again, I will tell, thankfully, my Wisdom Words publishers, my publishing house, has given a, very nice designing. I have drawn some pictures along with my daughter also. She has also helped in coloring. We did that both because I found she liked the story a lot. So, Mama, why don't you write it? She said me. And thus Impu Chimpu came in. And then comes Udara, Mudara, and Tara. Same, it was a story that I was saying, my daughter, bedtime story, one of that, where there are three very mischievous daughters, and the papa is a darling for the daughter and the mommy is quite strict. So somewhere I am also hidden there. I had the same, childhood. My papa was a darling to me and mommy was very strict. And I made those three daughters for 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and 7-year-old, Udara, Mudara, Tara. Now, Udara, Mudara, Tara, the name denotes about music and rag. If you hear, singers will say, Sare Gama Padha Nisa. It has 3 scales: Udara, Mudara, and Tara is a high scale. So thus the family is about music, musicians family, wherein the grandfather used to teach music and the father too loves music. And thus he has named his daughters lovingly as Udara, Mudara, and Tara. That's the story. And last is Nakul. And Nakul is a novel, I would say, that has come latest in last year, June, also published. And that part of Nakul is also there in Googly. So that is the story behind this. And writing Googly has, been a very joyful journey for me. It has been challenging also because I wrote that during COVID. So I challenged myself to bring the book during COVID times. That's the story it came.
That's very interesting. Before we move to the next question, I would like to say here that if you enjoyed listening to Lagnajita, you need to know she actually has her own YouTube channel and she also has a podcast on Swell. Both the links I'll be adding in the description where she narrates her stories. And trust me, she's a brilliant narrator. I have heard some of her swells and I really enjoy. Though I'm an adult and I'm not her target audience, but it's fun listening to her stories for children. It actually makes the inner child in me very happy. So with this, we would like to move to the next question, Lagnajita. So you believe that a childlike innocence resides in the hearts of all humans. How do you infuse belief in your writing? And why do you think it's important for readers to connect with their inner child?
When I started actually writing, I used to write from a young age because of the influence. My mother was a professor in college. She used to write that. And it was a good experience. I used to do that continuously. And then with the help of my mother, I started reading newspapers wherein I saw good story writings happening. And then finally, I had a clear question that, Ma, how would I also want to write? I also want my name to be seen in the newspapers. Now, many people who have heard me always have heard me say this. This is a very, when you say the truth, you don't have to make it. Mark Twain says, when you say the truth, this is the truth of the story. The first is reading newspaper headlines, because those days newspaper had a big role. There was no e-newspaper. It was a 24-page, leaflet, big newspaper, which was very difficult for us to handle. And there was a competition in every household. So that was the first beginning of understanding how to write story, difference between a story and a novel, and all those things. And then came up is the joy of writing. When I just started writing, I wrote for the joy of it. I did not think of publishing initially, because I could release, so many characters came out. I could release everything. I felt so light and happy. That was my inner child. I was actually a child growing up, still writing. Even if I don't find any pen, paper, at least, yes, I always have a pen. Pen and paper is always present. But even if I don't find a paper, I use my hand. You will always see a flower or something in my hand, always written there. So that is my inner child. And then as I grew up, when I started to write this, I felt the joy. My friends, my very close friends, their children loved it. They gave me the idea. Why don't you publish? I still was not serious about it. But I gave part of Nakul to the Hindu. When I gave it to Hindu, after 7 months, they published Hindu. A call came, a mail came. And then I got little confidence that, okay, fine, I can write a bit. So people have loved it. Let me try with Googly Impu Chimpu. And that was the time I really asked God, give me stories and inner muse. So Namrata, I'll ask you a question. Do you remember the rhyme that you studied in nursery or what? Any rhymes that you remember? Please tell.
We do, no, like Twinkle Twinkle, like Jack and Jill, and
Yes,
very
twinkle,
common.
twinkle, Johnny, Johnny. Yes, rain, rain, go away. Who does not remember, Namrata? This is your inner child. This is my inner child. So each of us are surrounded with this, We have never forgotten that mine was blank. It was just put twinkle, twinkle, little stars. So we love that. Even today, we will never forget in our lifetime, because that is the inner muse. And that is what, Namrata, I want everyone to live with. Had the inner muse not been there, we would not have understood what is the joy of writing, singing. We still love. I still see people, retired people, passionate about music. They're learning harmonium. What is that? That is a child inside them. So if I stand and ask, if I just close my eyes, if I move around and ask my Lagnajita inside me, who do I find? I find that 7-year, 8-year-old Lagnajita. I never find the 30-year-old Lagnajita in front. I love that 7-year and 8-year-old Lagnajita. And that is one implication that I think each of us have it, but we need to tap. Knock, knock, the inner child, knock, knock. That I want each of us to tap. That's for sure.
So beautifully explained. I really loved that analogy. So, Lagnajita, our next question.
And I'm sure you will follow it too.
Absolutely. So this brings us to the next question, Lagnajita, where how do you think your role as a teacher has influenced your role as a writer, as a children's writer? Can you talk about that?
When I was in class 6, 4, 5, 6, again, every time my life is, I think, all influenced by all those school days, mostly because I love seeing my teachers. I always loved, respected them, of course. We love celebrating Teachers' Day. And we had so many friends who were not equally good. I was not equally good in every subject. Same with all others, 40 people in my class. So very good, average, weak, all kinds of students were there. But when we were in the march past together, we were all loving each other. We all celebrated independence in the same way. We all celebrated Tagore's birthday with the same zeal. So that is one thing. And then I saw that, being a teacher is a lovely idea, because I always have seen my mother, her students, how they respected her. I respected my teachers. So with this, my aim in life was always to become a teacher. And yes, thankfully, I could work with that. And as I became a teacher, I learned more. Namrata, I learned so much more. I started learning with them, growing with them every day. I thought, how my dear children, how are they balancing so many subjects together? That was my first question. I had done it. Yes, I remember, waking up late nights, 12, 1 o'clock, 1:30, and then doing all those files, assignments, homeworks, velvet coverings. The more they appreciated, teachers appreciated us, the more we did it fully. So that was the essence of and joy of a child. But on the other side, they are weak in some things, handling things, of course, at the same time, especially subjects where they forget dates, some sums. If you ask them some history, some kind of geography, some are not very clear with states and capitals. So that as a teacher, I could every day live with them and with their problem. Then we started enacting in the classes. There were role plays in the classes. They enjoy the same thing in a different way. But when in the examination hall, you cannot say them to write about the role play. They need to actually have some practical idea of writing an answer, framing it in a different way. So I remember Battle of Plassey, 1757. As a student, when I could not remember those dates, what I did is, I used to find some those days, LML Vespa and Bajaj were on the go. Every house had it. So my kaku had the same Bajaj scooter, and I remember seeing the number plate, and it matched somewhere. How with 1757? I don't know how I matched it, but I matched it. And thus that year was clear. Since that day, I started finding out whose birthday is on what date that matches with history. So now it became easy. Similarly, in the same way with children also, we did the same technique. They were enjoying it. So it's a learning with experience more than with the, of course, now every school does that. We don't learn too much of, bookish and these rote learning. We don't avoid that. But still, to some extent, we have to make points and learn. How? Come on, let's do twinkle, twinkle, little star. So the children who are not very average, who are average, little weak than that, they are doing twinkle, twinkle well. And at the same time, I'm putting inside, come on, Uttar Pradesh, where it is, Taj Mahal, Agra, all these things. And I did action with them. One action statement, get up. Some children are very weak with nouns and verbs.
Right.
Some were not able to understand what is verb and difference between verb and adverb.
Right.
So I say, come on, jump with me and show that. So, ma'am, so this is verb, action. I'm action. Every time I say yes, every time you roll up and down the roads with the cycles, bikes,
Yeah.
so that is called verb, acting. So when he later on met me, ma'am, I'm doing a verb. Come on, do the verb. Do the verb more, ma'am. Is it a noun? So that is how even verb noun, which I think is very easy, is not easy for all. Like all subjects, not easy for me. So they gave me Nakul. Nakul is all about them. Nakul is all about a student, a soft boy, such a nice, lovely boy who has problems in the subjects, who cannot do the rote learning. He has mathematics paper in front of him to solve. He is looking at the wide blue sky. Of course, the blue sky is better than the mathematics, he thinks at that time. So that is what he loves to sit with his pets. He has a very good quality. He's a great animal lover. So these kind of children exist everywhere. And then I tap into it. Okay, you have pets? Yes, ma'am, we have pets. So there are at least 20 children who have pets and 30 who love pets but don't have it. That is also a scenario. So I asked those 20 who have a pet that what responsibility you take for the pet. Ma'am, so and so I take him out, this and that, everyday morning routine. Then I come to school in the evening. He waits for me. I give him food. Ma'am, sometimes mama also gives. I get tired. So that, honestly, they come out, they open up. And then I say, see, you sit with your pet. You sit beside the plant, because I used to do that, sitting beside my favorite plant and I read. Sometimes look up at the sky, don't worry. But be in your way, be disciplined. When you're sitting with your book, read out to your pet. See, he will also love it. And don't touch the mobile. So those things, do's and don'ts, in such a sweet manner, when we started framing that, and analysis, weak analysis, let's write on the board. Okay, margin, line between do's and don'ts. This week, what I have done, I also used to say, I have used mobile more than 2 hours. It is wrong. Like 2 hours, buffer time for me, which wasn't supposed to be done. So that I have done. I have read less of books in this week. So that is how I set them my faults. And they started understanding that if this way we do it, ma'am will be happy. We will have interesting classes more. Lest you answer and take the study inside well in your own playful manner, in the rote learning, in a study manner, whatever you feel, but the result should be good. You should be happy with yourself. And when are you happy? When others also appreciate you. So don't depreciate yourselves. Respect yourself first. Do you think as a student I respect you? When I asked my students, they were very confused that an elderly person, how can she respect us? Ma'am, they were confused, but they liked the word that, okay, will I respect you, children? So they were quiet. So then the next question, do you love me to punish you or scold or shout? No, ma'am. So then that means I'm respecting you. So do things which gives more of respect everywhere. Wherever you go, you leave that stamp. So that is how Nakul came to. So Nakul is in every home. Everybody's heart has a Nakul inside, I believe, Namrata. That's the idea. Yes, every day I'm learning. Every day I get lessons from them. Beautiful. Some so, pretty words, innocent ideas. We really feel like laughing. Sometimes you cannot laugh in front, but they are innocent to some extent. And to the other extent, we need to teach them.
True. Very true. So, Lagnajita, would you like to talk about the fantasy element in your stories?
Fantasy element, yeah, my second book. It's Diggy Dilly Daisy. The English version, I would say, with Udara, Mudara, and Tara. English in the sense, both are in English, of course. It's a detailed version. Now, Diggy Dilly Daisy has two parts, and it's all about Brinjal and discipline and a loving daddy and a strict mommy. So the three children are there. Again, the bedtime stories. I was just telling my daughter a story, and then she said, "Mummy, I would say, Mama, see, Diggy cannot speak so well because Daisy is the eldest. Diggy, Dilly, and Daisy, but the descending order is Daisy, Dilly, and Diggy. So Diggy is the youngest. So Diggy's teacher comes to teach her because they are so naughty. On a summertime, Papa has arranged for a teacher to make them some drawings and just teach ABCD and multiplications. And Daisy is very unhappy that every vacation you put teachers for us, it's not fair, mom. So then she says that, okay, let's just do some light reading. Tell me the names of the, 7 days for week. So she says, Man is a day, Two is a day, Wed is a next day. And then the teacher is so surprised, saying, my God, stop. How did you study this? Man is a day, Two is a day. I wrote for you Monday, Tuesday. And then the two sisters come and say, yes, Miss Dorothy, do you know what's the matter is? It was very difficult for little Dig baby to read Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we shortened that for her and said, Mon is a day, Two is a day, Wed is a next day. So isn't it good, Miss Dorothy? And Miss Dorothy was so surprised, and she immediately gave a call to the mother, and the mother again locked the children home. So that's the beginning of the story. And then the fun goes on, wherein they are always up to some pranks, and they break their father's new computer revolving chair that he has brought for the computers and all. And they gave the blame to their neighborhood friend Charlie, and Charlie runs away. Daisy says that, Mommy, Charlie has just broken the new chair. He was trying to revolve around the entire room, whereas the three sisters were just doing it. And Charlie tried to stop, but they gave the blame on Charlie because they knew mother won't punish Charlie. So that is the beginning of the first part. And second part is total fantasy, wherein Daisy is so unhappy and Daisy gets cranky, and the mother says, I have given you what you have to eat in the picnic. They will go to a picnic. If you don't like it, just be without food. Just be empty stomach. Don't bother every time, everywhere, every people. That's the line the mother says.
Right.
And Daisy, disheartened, sad, she runs towards the car and sits there inside. And then she just thinks that daddy has also changed. He is also supporting mommy nowadays. I wish I could get a nice, salad. I'm feeling hungry. I wish I could buy those pink shoes with my matching dress. And immediately she says that her black shoes turn pink. So she feels it's a, illusion, something. But actually they turn pink. Then she gets salads, carrots and all thrown to her inside the car, through the window. And then she shouts, who is that? that's making Daisy frightened. Daisy is never frightened. And then immediately she sees a rabbit. Rabbit talks. Oh, really? I am Rabbit. Come out, talk to me. I want to be friends. And then she's very excited and she finds a creature. She doesn't understand she's a rabbit because the rabbit has different colors in her body. So Rabbit says, oh girl, you never read about me. I always heard that schools teach always about me. They must have finished teaching about me in classes 1, 2, 3, and you still don't know who I am. I'm a rabbit. So Daisy say that why is your color all, different, multicolored? Why are you multicolored? She asks. You are orange, you are green. What is this? You are white too? One body, three colors. Rabbit, I have learned only in white colors. And the rabbit says, yes, because I have eaten carrot and cakes and mushrooms yesterday. So thus my body is all about that color, orange, carrot, green cake and white mushrooms. What? Yeah, we live in the land of magic and yours the land of logic. So that's the main title line of Diggity Daisy, that ours is a land of logic and theirs is a land of magic, and everything happens is magical because somehow he understands, he takes her into convincing mode, and she takes Daisy through a tunnel into the land of brinjal. So that brinjal is about a witch who only loves brinjal. So that history goes on. They goes inside. Daisy never loves brinjals, but going inside the gate, and the rabbit's name is Brinjo, and his master is Brinjal. So as the gate opens, there are three animals: elephant serving a juice, giraffe serving another juice, and a kangaroo with another juice. So three kinds of animals with three different tastes of juice. Daisy cannot choose the welcome drink, which one to choose. She's so happy, my God. See, mommy, I would surely have gone. But yes, I'm missing Papa. But she thinks this behind the back of her mind. And then three kinds of juices have three qualities. That is what the rabbit explains. That see, if one kind of juice will become very overexcited, you will keep hopping like a kangaroo if you take the juice that the kangaroo has. So better don't take it. She chooses one juice. And then she finds a lot of energy. She says, yes, if you take this drink, the rabbit says, you will have the energy till evening time. You can work. You won't feel too much sleepy. You will have charged yourself. It's better you take the elephant's drink because the other one, giraffe, whatever he has, if you take that drink, you will keep non-stop laughing, ha, 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 and you won't ever stop. So I suggest you take the multivitamin juice. So thus the story progresses, wherein Daisy falls in trouble everywhere. She finds that, many 7 children like her are all in that brinjal farm. They are there somehow tight, confined, and they are not able to run out. She tries to run away. She cannot find a way. So that's all the story, that a boy turns into a fountain. And the boy's name is Sadie, because I was always sad. I always cried. I never listened to mommy. And I became a mountaineer, and a fountain grows from my mountain. So that's the story all around Diggity Daisy. And in the end, Daisy finds that secret brinjal. How? My readers will read again and understand how. But it's a lovely fantasy. It's a lovely fantasy, I would say.
I loved listening to this. This was very thoroughly enjoyable, and I can actually imagine a lot of this. This reminds me of a story that we had actually read in school in Gujarati. I've studied in Gujarat, and the title of the story was Raja Khai Ringan. So there was a king who wanted only brinjals every day in his meal.
Okay.
So the story was about that king.
The more water flows, I see water, the flowing water ideas came. I was thinking it's so full of fantasy that what next should I give? But yes, I am also so full of imagination on the other side. So I saw that it wasn't very difficult. The moment I sat with a pen and paper, ideas came and flew. Yeah. And I too laughed with it. So there are, joyful experiences that way. I'll surely send you one copy of that.
Sure. Would love to read that too.
Yeah, so, sure.
Let's start with the rapid fire, Lagnajita.
Sure.
If you could have any fictional writing character as your writing buddy, who would it be?
A challenging question. I see. Of course, I love Ruskin Bond. I love, J.K. Rowling. Diggitily, whenever I think of that, I think of Harry Potter, J.K.
Yeah,
It's not on one. I think J.K. Ruskin Bond and had Satyajit Ray been there, I would have surely loved to write with him.
true.
Satyajit Ray is a big dream, but yes, of course, we should dream. That's the
That's
one thing
some
I know.
terrific combination, I must say.
Terrific combination. Because Ray is a combination of everything, He has done such kind of films. He has done with ghosts, he has done with animals, he has done with humans, he has done
He's done
practical films.
sci-fi. I mean, I was amazed when I saw the sci-fi short films and
Yes,
writing.
yes. He has done detective, whatnot, for children, Shonar Kela. So he is just, after Tagore, I would just praise him, a combination of everything inside Ray, you know? So, of course, I love him.
True. One writing superstition, if you have any.
No, I don't generally have any superstition as such, but yes, I always look out for signs, I would say,
Mhm.
as a pious, aesthetic person, whatever people say me. But yes, it happens sometimes, before giving a story for a competition, it was just a molecular story. I would say in Bengal, it was 70 to 80 words only. And I had never written that 70, 80 words story, but that was the first time I wrote. And when I was about to submit it, there was a Shankanath, just my neighborhood,
Wow.
they were blowing yes, the Shankanath was there. So I felt that, okay, this is a sign, let me give it. And yes, the competition, yes, they had chosen me. So I was among the top 10, one's names were there, wherein I was also chosen. So that is one good thing. I have some kind of signs I look for always. God give me some sign. Either it will be a good rose, beautiful, or something will be there. That to me would be a sign. But as such, I don't have any superstition, I would say.
Okay. Most unusual place you found inspiration for a story in.
I don't know if it's unusual, but the poem in the bazaars of Hyderabad by Sarojini Naidu. Whenever we go to bazaars, that is one place. Just recently, again, I visited that. I find people that different idiosyncrasies. The bus driver waiting for the bus to start. He is himself, doing this, just combing his own hair somehow, getting it right, setting up the chai wala, chai, all those. This is not very unusual, of course, but how especially they crib for the rent, fares. A rickshaw and a passenger cribbing for the fare throughout the journey. They cribbed. Hey, bhaiya, this is not correct. You took 100 rupees, a 70 rupee journey or 70, 100. Bhai sahab, nowadays, forget about 70, it's 100 only nowadays. Come on, slow, don't go like this, slow, take the first turn. He is following what the passenger is saying. The passenger is listening what the driver is saying. Both are cribbing about the fare and both reached in the destinations in the same cribbing manner. That is one humorous part. Another unusual thing, if you say, Namrata, I will say at the house of the deceased. Yes, I am. And when I practice writing, this is one of my stories. I'm just practicing my writing about that. House of the deceased, I have seen so many unusual happenings, but they happen every day. Especially for that occasion, we don't want, a sad, mourning occasion. But even then, I see ladies coming out. Oh, no, why is that cup kept in the second shelf? That should be on the first shelf. No, that, don't, she doesn't know how to keep the soap well in the corner of the basin. That I have to go and arrange. So I don't, really, it's something unusual wherein you will feel the loss for the person, or you will feel where are your cups and glasses arranged or kept properly. Where are the people, 50 people coming to meet you? They some trying to help you out, and you are finding out the fault that the soap case is not kept in the correct place, or the burner they are kept here, the spoons are not found out. Where is the turmeric? Where's the bowl of my spices? That is one unusual thing that I really find. Somebody sitting on the bed and making it dirty, somebody on the sofa, crumbling the sofa cover, their eyes just there. That is one mixed emotion. Technology has made it. Too much of luxury comfort. I want my house prim and proper has made it. I don't know the exact reason that goes on inside the person, but this is unusual for me. That that I believe everything. But we think where are the cups and the dishes and the glasses put, the soap cases? This is unusual
And that
because
brings
it is itself is a story, I think. It is a story.
true, very true. I really enjoyed this conversation, Lagnajita. This brings us to the end of this episode, but it was fun interacting with you, knowing
Oh,
all your stories. I'll be adding all the links to your books, to your YouTube, and to your
sure,
Swellcast
sure.
in the descriptions. And to all the viewers, I would say do read her books and do leave a feedback. That's what helps writers spread the word. Let them know that you enjoyed their work a lot. And thank you so much, Lagnajita,
Yes.
for sharing this journey with us today.
Thanks so much, Namrata. Same here. Thanks to you and wish that you progress higher and higher
Thank you
and
so much.
reach all your aims and goals.
Thank you so much.